Am I the a-hole for putting my hand over my sister-in-law's camera at my own birthday dinner after I told her no filming? So this just happened last weekend, and it's been bugging me ever since. For context, I, 28F, had my birthday dinner with close family and friends at a nice little restaurant in town. Nothing crazy, just good food, some drinks, and enjoying being around people I actually like. Except, there's always one person who makes things complicated. In this case, it's my sister-in-law, 32F. Now, my sister-in-law is one of those people who documents everything. I don't mean snapping a couple of group photos or taking a cute picture of the food. I mean she will have her phone or camera out the entire time, filming everyone, zooming in on people's faces while they're chewing, and later editing it all into a family vlog she posts on her social media. The kicker? None of us consented to this. My husband, 30M, has told her to tone it down before, but she just laughs and says, "Oh, come on, it's just memories." I'm not anti-photo. I just hate being filmed while I'm trying to eat or have a conversation. It makes me self-conscious and honestly ruins the vibe for me. So when I planned this birthday dinner, I made it super clear to everyone. No filming, no posting without permission. Pictures were fine as long as they were respectful. Everyone nodded along. My sister-in-law gave me a little eye roll, but said fine. Dinner started out great. The food was amazing, everyone was laughing, and for once I felt relaxed. Then I noticed out of the corner of my eye, yep, sister-in-law had her camera propped up on the bread basket, aimed at me while I was blowing out candles. Not a huge deal, but still annoying because I had been so clear. I let it go because it was just one shot, and I didn't want to make a scene on my own birthday. But then, when we all sat back down to eat, she whipped out her phone and started panning across the table like she was a National Geographic cameraman. She zoomed in on my plate, then my face, then other people. I could see my cousin visibly uncomfortable, kind of shrinking back, and my mom muttering, "Not again." I quietly said, "Sister-in-law, remember? No filming." She did her fake innocent voice. "Oh, I'm just capturing the vibe. You look so cute right now, don't be mad." And she kept recording. That's when I just snapped. I reached across the table and put my hand over her camera lens. Not aggressively, not smacking it, just covered it so she couldn't keep recording. Everyone kind of froze, and she gasped like I had committed a crime. She pulled her phone back and said, "Wow, seriously? That was so rude." I told her flat out, "I asked for no filming tonight. You're making people uncomfortable. It's my birthday, can you respect that?" She got defensive immediately, saying I was overreacting and that nobody else cares, which was false, because I know several people there did care. She sulked through the rest of dinner, barely spoke to me, and later posted some cryptic story on Instagram about controlling people who can't let others enjoy themselves. Now my husband is on my side, but his mom thinks I embarrassed sister-in-law and should have just let it go to keep the peace. A couple of people at dinner said I did the right thing, but I can't shake the feeling that maybe I could have handled it better instead of physically blocking her camera. So, am I the a-hole for putting my hand over my sister-in-law's camera at my own birthday dinner after I told her no filming? So, the dinner itself ended with a bit of an awkward vibe. Most people stayed polite and tried to keep conversation flowing, but it was obvious that sister-in-law was in her feelings. She ate in silence, scrolled on her phone a lot, and when we all said our goodbyes, she barely looked at me. Honestly, I thought maybe she'd cool off after a night's sleep. Nope. The next morning, I woke up to a barrage of texts. My mother-in-law, her mom, my husband's mom too obviously, had sent me a paragraph about how family is about capturing memories and that I was too controlling at my own dinner. She said sister-in-law was just trying to celebrate me and that by publicly shaming her, I made everyone uncomfortable. I reread the message like 3 times because, excuse me? I literally asked one thing for my own birthday and somehow I'm the bad guy? Meanwhile, sister-in-law had gone on social media again. This time it wasn't just a vague story, it was a full-on post about how some people can't stand others being happy and how controlling people ruin special moments. She didn't name me directly, but it was painfully obvious who she was talking about. A few of her friends even commented things like, "Ugh, people need to lighten up and ignore the haters, girl." My phone kept buzzing because my cousins, who were at dinner, were texting me like, "Wow, she's really going in on you." One even joked, "Next year, have everyone sign a waiver before they sit down." At least some people saw how ridiculous she was being. My husband, bless him, immediately called his sister and told her to take the post down. She got defensive, again, saying it wasn't about me, sure, and that I humiliated her first. He reminded her that I didn't yell, I didn't grab her phone, I just physically blocked the camera after she ignored my request multiple times. She hung up on him. Later that day, mother-in-law called my husband to scold him for taking sides. She said that sister-in-law was just sensitive and I should have been more accommodating since that's just how she is. That phrase drives me insane. Like, why does her being how she is mean the rest of us have to be uncomfortable? Now, here's the kicker. Sister-in-law apparently tried to upload some clips she did manage to film before I covered the lens. My face is in them, along with a couple of other family members, and she's editing it into one of her little family vlogs. I only found out because my cousin follows her and warned me. I feel like this is no longer just a dinner issue, it's turning into a family Cold War. My husband says we need to set firmer boundaries, but his mom thinks I owe sister-in-law an apology for ruining the vibe. So yeah, what was supposed to be a chill birthday dinner has spiraled into a family drama where I'm the controlling villain. By midweek, things had escalated to the point where I knew we couldn't just brush it under the rug. My husband suggested we have a sit-down with sister-in-law and mother-in-law, just to clear the air before it turned into a permanent grudge match. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I agreed. Mostly because I was sick of the passive-aggressive posts and group chat tension. We met at mother-in-law's house, neutral ground, supposedly. From the moment I walked in, I could tell sister-in-law was ready for a fight. She was sitting on the couch with her arms crossed, phone in her lap, like she was about to live stream the whole thing. Mother-in-law was fluttering around, offering tea, trying to play peacemaker, but clearly already biased. It started civil enough. My husband calmly explained. Look, OP made a reasonable request for her birthday. No filming. That was the one boundary. You ignored it, and when she reminded you, you kept going. Covering the lens wasn't disrespect, it was the only way to make you stop. Sister-in-law immediately cut in. You're making it sound like I was doing something terrible. I was just filming memories. Everyone else was fine with it. I couldn't help myself. No, actually, they weren't fine. You didn't notice cousin be shrinking back in her chair? Or mom telling you to stop under her breath? You're so focused on filming that you don't see when you're making people uncomfortable. That hit a nerve. She snapped. Maybe they should speak up then, instead of making me the villain. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. I kept my voice as steady as I could. You embarrassed yourself. I asked nicely. You ignored me. What was I supposed to do? Sit there and smile for your vlog while you disrespected me at my own birthday dinner? Mother-in-law finally jumped in with her usual line. That's just how she is. She loves recording things. You know she doesn't mean any harm. And that's when I lost my patience. I'm sorry, but that's just how she is isn't an excuse. She might not mean harm, but harm is still being done when people's boundaries are crossed. If I say no filming and she films anyway, that's disrespect. Period. Sister-in-law rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. This is ridiculous. It's not like I posted anything bad. You look fine in the videos. I said, that's not the point. I don't care how I look. I care about being respected. You don't get to decide what's okay for me. There was a long silence after that. My husband squeezed my hand under the table, which helped because my heart was racing. Mother-in-law looked uncomfortable, like she wanted to scold me but knew I wasn't wrong. Sister-in-law, on the other hand, just looked pissed. Eventually, sister-in-law muttered, fine, whatever. Next time I won't film you. Happy, but it was so insincere that it felt more like a threat than a promise. We left shortly after, and I honestly don't feel like anything got resolved. It's like she agreed just to shut us up, but I know the second there's another family event, she'll have that phone out again. And mother-in-law will keep saying that's just how she is. At this point, I'm wondering if the only real solution is to stop going to events where sister-in-law is, or at least make it crystal clear that if she films me without my permission again, I'll walk out. A couple weeks later, we had another family gathering, this time for father-in-law's birthday. I debated skipping it altogether, but my husband convinced me to go, promising he'd have my back if anything went sideways. Honestly, I was anxious the whole drive there, half expecting sister-in-law to be waiting at the door with a tripod and ring light. At first, it was fine. Everyone was chatting, laughing, catching up. I noticed sister-in-law had her phone in her hand, but she wasn't filming, yet. It almost felt like she was testing me, sneaking glances to see if I'd flinch every time she raised it. Then, right after father-in-law blew out his candles, I caught her sliding the phone up and angling it at me and my husband. That was my breaking point. I didn't cover the lens this time. I just stood up, pushed my chair back, and said clearly, I told you before, I'm not going to be filmed. If this keeps happening, I'm leaving. The whole room went quiet. Sister-in-law looked stunned, like she didn't expect me to actually call her out in front of everyone. Mother-in-law started with her usual, oh, come on, don't make a scene, but before I could even respond, my husband jumped in. No, Mom. Opie has asked repeatedly not to be filmed. It's not hard to respect that. If sister-in-law can't stop, then we'll go. You could have heard a pin drop. Finally, my father-in-law, who usually stays out of the drama, spoke up. He looked right at sister-in-law and said, put the phone away. Not everything needs to be recorded. We're here to enjoy each other, not to be on camera. That shut her down fast. Sister-in-law pouted, shoved her phone back in her bag, and sulked for the rest of the evening. But for once, she didn't film anyone. After that, things shifted. Mother-in-law still tries to defend sister-in-law occasionally, but now she knows I'm not bluffing. My husband made it clear to his family that our boundary is non-negotiable. No filming without permission. If they can't respect that, we simply won't be there. And honestly, that's been freeing. Sister-in-law still posts her little vlogs online, but I'm never in them anymore, and neither is my husband. Some relatives have even started telling her directly to cut it out when she points a camera at them, which makes me think maybe I wasn't the only one fed up. So, resolution-wise, I don't think sister-in-law will ever like me for putting my foot down, but I don't regret it. I'd rather be the controlling villain in her story than let her keep walking all over my boundaries. At least now she knows I mean what I say. And honestly, my birthdays are a whole lot more peaceful when I'm not worried about being someone's B-roll footage. If this story kept you hooked, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more.